The last part of today's talk is on how can I do a better time management for myself. So essentially, for all of us, the time is limited on this planet. We don't have all the time that we have, what we would like to have, and we don't know how much time we have. But whatever time we have on this planet, we should make the best use of time, and we shouldn't waste this time. And we shouldn't live somebody else's life. We should live according to our dreams, according to our passion, according to our purpose. We should live this, and these are some famous, beautiful statements I would like to quote from Steve Jobs. He says, "Your time is limited. Don't waste it living somebody else's life." So time management is essential because we all have the same 24 hours to us. The person who achieves the best in his profession or somebody who cannot achieve much, all of us have the same time. And if somebody says that I don't have time, I'm very busy, in my opinion, it means that I don't have the priority for this particular task. Somebody says, some patient tells me that I don't have time for exercise, I'm so busy. That means that he doesn't have a priority or any value for doing exercise. He doesn't consider it important to spend 1 hour of his day, 24 hours in exercise. So that means that he doesn't give his life or his health or his body that kind of a priority that it deserves. Because the body is the most important vehicle for us to achieve anything and everything that we want to. So this is what is the focus that we should do on productivity, maximizing impact in a limited time. And in terms of business, this is what is called as a return on investment. Whatever you have investment and what you are going to get a return. So we need to focus on this productivity part, and that's how we have to utilize the time very well. So identifying the purpose and build our productivity around that purpose. And it also calls for a lot of introspection and self-reflection. It calls a lot of planning as well. So time management is the ability to use our time effectively and productively, especially at work. It's a process of organizing and planning, and we have to divide our time between different specific activities. It could be work and life, your personal balance, or it could be within the work, different activities that you are looking for. And good time management enables you to work smarter, not harder, so that you can get more done in less time, even when time is tight and pressures are high. And failing to manage your time damages your effectiveness and causes stress. Many people believe that in the given time, if you want to do more, then it's better to do multitasking. But multitasking is not the best way to achieve this thing, because our mind, the human brain, is not made for multitasking. It is made to focus on one particular task at one particular time. And that's why whatever we do, we should do with intense focus so that we can do it well, we can complete it, and then we can go to the next task. So that is how our brain is made, and that is what the recent research on the brain tells us. So time management is a misnomer. The idea is to challenge, or the challenge is to manage our own self. So it's essentially self-management, not time management, because time is the finite factor. We have to manage ourselves according to the given time. In this beautiful book of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the thing which appealed to me the most in this book, and the best thing which has helped me a lot, is this 4 quadrant. And these 4 quadrants are quadrant 1, 2, 3 and 4. And Stephen Covey says that the quadrant 1 activity is the urgent and the important activity which we have to do. Say for example, when you go to the hospital and somebody says that there is a fire in one of these places in the hospital, it's an urgent and it's an important, you cannot miss it, you have to do it. So that is something that you have to get things done. The quadrant 2 is something which is not urgent but it is important, and that's why it needs a lot of planning. Say for example, as a doctor, you feel that for you publications and academic work is important. It is not urgent but it is important, and that's why you have to plan to do publications or doing some data or research or activities like those, right? Calls for a lot of planning. So this is a quadrant 2 activity. The quadrant 3 activity is urgent but it is not important. Something comes up urgently, but something which it's not necessary for you to do it, you could delegate. So it's not very important task, but it is an urgent task, but this you could delegate. Whereas the quadrant 4 activity is not urgent and not important. These are some of the time wasters that I'll come to, and one should try and eliminate this. So this is a beautiful These are the beautiful quadrants of work that Stephen Covey talks about. We should try and live as much as possible in quadrant 2 and quadrant 1. Quadrant 1 is a must, but whenever we have time, we should look and work in quadrant 2 as much as possible rather than going into quadrant 4 or quadrant 3 activity. So we should try and be aware of what kind of activities we are doing, how we are spending our time in the best given possible circumstances, whether it is taking us or helping us reach our goal or not. That is something that we need to keep in mind all the time. So time management is essentially life management, and until we can manage time, we cannot manage anything else. And there is this very beautiful principle called the Pareto Principle. I don't know whether you have heard about it. It's called the 80-20 rule. And according to this rule, which is quite true, if you look and if you think deeply, you will see that 80% of the task can be completed in 20% of our time. And the rest 20% of the task needs or takes up our 80% of the time. And this is also true. 80% of all your revenues that you come probably is come from the 20% of the time that you spend. And for the 20% of the revenues that come, you have to spend about 80% of your time. And it is true in many spheres of our life. So this principle tells us that we can sort our task in two parts. The first category can be assigned a higher priority, because this is where it is more generating more of efficiency and productivity. And that's why the 80-20 rule is also applied to increase your productivity. It's assumed that 80% of the productivity can be achieved by doing 20% of the task. And that's why we should prioritize our task very well. So this is a very beautiful principle that can help us to prioritize our activities, our task, and manage our time accordingly. Then there is something called the concept of Muda elimination. Muda in a Japanese terminology is called waste. And this is a Kaizen principle where it says that you have to eliminate Muda. So identify your time wasters wherever you spend unnecessary time, your energies, which doesn't help you to achieve your goals. Then you should try and eliminate that. And rather than making to-do list, it says you make not to-do list, what you don't want to do or what you should not do, so as to not to waste time. So time wasters should be eliminated. Punctuality is definitely important. You must reach your academic programs, your theaters, your wards, or your workplaces, or you could reach at home in time. And especially, it's basically that you respect your own commitments, and this is only possible if we plan our life well. Though in a medical profession, it's not possible to plan completely, because there will be a lot of times when things go haywire. But still, at least if 80% of the time you can manage your life well, that is still good enough. Some people would give an excuse saying that I'm better late than never, but that's not an excuse. That's not a good way of saying that you can be late all the time. It's important to be punctual. So time management and punctuality are extremely vital for our personal planning, to increase and improve our productivity, to get more done in less time. Multitasking, as I said, is not the solution. And with this, I wish you all happy time management, so that you can optimize your time very well. You can do whatever you love doing. You do it in the best and the most productive and the most efficient way, and you can achieve and you can reach to your life goals and achieve the ultimate happiness and success in your life. So thank you very much.